Well, hey fans, welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Spoilers, and today we're talking spoilers for The Suicide Squad.
I do not mind the rain sometimes.
Now, The Suicide Squad was directed by James Gunn, who took over from David Ayer, who directed Suicide Squad. I have to preface this spoiler review with the fact that I really enjoyed this movie, even with its faults. I believe on the blog I gave it an 8 out of 10. But even as much as I did enjoy this movie, it I'm just going to get into it. There are a lot of issues with Amanda Waller, Task Force X, and things that I don't necessarily think were better than David Ayer's film. Yes, there was no studio interference with this film, and it was all James Gunn's vision, his plan, but I mean, the movie isn't necessarily better. Better edited, yes, but not necessarily better. And let's start with the team. You got Bloodsport, who is Idris Elba's greatest Bloodsport, but he's basically a carbon copy of Deadshot. Just different weapons, and the same thing with Peacemaker. But John Cena is great as Peacemaker. But Bloodsport, who shot Superman, and I'll get into that, and Peacemaker, they're not metahumans. They're just normal humans who are good at combat. Then you have Ratcatcher, also not a metahuman. She just has technology that allows her to control rats. You have, and I'm talking about the main team here. You have King Shark, who is a metahuman, but he's really stupid. You have Polka Dot Man, also a metahuman, but unlike in the comics where his polka dots turn into a variety of different things, can be portals and chainsaws or like razor blades, stuff like that. And in this film, they're just incendiary polka dots that burn things. You got Rick Flag, who I actually enjoyed more in this film than the first film, so that was an upgrade. He's still basically the same guy, he's just a rated R version of that guy, and it just works so much better. In terms of, I think that's the whole team. Yeah. In terms of the entire team. Oh, Harley Quinn. Forgot about Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is back. A different iteration of Harley Quinn, but the same Harley Quinn because she's crazy. She's different in every movie she's in. They kind of explain why she's there after Birds of Prey. She robbed a bank or something. But that was great. But in terms of the people who died, Captain Boomerang, Jai Courtney, dies in the beginning. Mongal dies. Savant dies. Blackguard dies. That whole team, who the detachable kid, who is like based off of like Arm Reattachable Boy or something like that. There's Javelin, who just has a javelin. There's Weasel. He, at the very end, you find out he's actually still alive. But yes, and it was crazy that James Gunn actually killed all of these villains right in the beginning. We knew some people were going to die. The whole promotion for the film was don't get too attached. But man, killing Captain Boomerang, it hit me right there in the heart. It hit me in the feels because I wanted him to survive. I really liked him in the first film. And I have to give props, I guess, to David Ayer for setting up this character who we end up liking so much. And then props to James Gunn for doing something serious and taking out a character who he knew everyone would like. So that was great. And although this will never happen, but HBO Max is a thing. We're getting a Peacemaker show on HBO Max. Spoiler, he survives at the end. It would be great if we got a Suicide Squad show with Captain Boomerang going on all these missions for Amanda Waller with like a different team each episode or a different team each season, whatever, where he's like the only survivor. And that will give us more Jai Courtney. I'd really enjoy that because we already know where he's going to end up. But there's that. Back to Bloodsport. Like I said, he's a carbon copy of Deadshot. He has issues with his daughter, just like Deadshot. Black guy, just like Deadshot. Leader of the team, just like Deadshot. But he apparently at one point shot Superman with a kryptonite bullet. That happened in the comics. I get they want to make him seem important in the film, but they don't explain it. And this is their whole... They don't really have a plan for their universe. At the point of making this film, they did. I don't know how it'll be in the future. But it would have been great if we got some conversation between him and the guys. So how did you even get a kryptonite bullet to shoot Superman? If he's like, well, I got it from Lex Luthor, and of course it landed me in jail or whatever. I shouldn't have taken the job. Something like that. Just small things that can connect the universe together. Also, you have the island. They're on Corto Maltese, which is a famous island in the comics. The main villain of the film is Starro, although you kind of feel bad for Starro, but at the same time, it's like, why, with as big as Starro is and him destroying this whole island, nobody shows up? Now, if Superman didn't show up because he's currently in the ICU because he was shot with a kryptonite bullet, that makes sense. Where's Wonder Woman? Unless she's busy at the time, like, she should come to help. She can fly. We know that now because of Wonder Woman 84. Where is the Marvel family? You got Captain Marvel and all his siblings. Why aren't they helping? They watch the news. It's crazy. And they're building this world of all these heroes, yet you have these small time villains taking out this big monster. Task Force X, aka the Suicide Squad, is a covert missions team. They go and do the nitty gritty things that the government doesn't want the heroes to know about and doesn't want responsibility for handling. So, yes, they can face some kind of big bad, but nothing that's seen on the news. I just find that was an issue with the film. The film was hilarious. I really love how funny it was. James Gunn is great with comedy. He did a great job with Guardians of the Galaxy. And people are saying, wow, James Gunn did this film so well, we want him back for 3. Pump the brakes there, because I don't think he should come back for the third Suicide Squad film, which I think should be named A Suicide Squad. Because if you have Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad, why not A Suicide Squad? And I take this from the fact that he did Guardians. Loved it. It's great. He did Guardians 2. Good film. Overuse of comedy, not as good as the first one. Just seems silly at times. And I don't want him to repeat that mistake with the third Suicide Squad film. I want him to move on to something new. Now, he can do another film in the DC extended universe, a TV show, whatever, like he did with Peacemaker. But I don't want him coming back to the same franchise. He's doing that with Marvel. Hopefully Guardians 3 is good. But I don't think he should do that. I personally think his next film should be, after Guardians 3, of course, should be Deadpool 3. Because even though it's the third film, it'll be his first time directing one. So that would be great. The connections. Like I said, this film needed more connections to the greater DCEU. We see Bel Rev prison, which is filled with like a lot of villains. Some who it makes no sense that they're there. Calendar Man, for one, pops up. Why is he in Bel Rev? He should be in Arkham or somewhere. Kaleidoscope, maybe. But even then, if Bel Rev is supposed to be like your maximum security prison for metahumans, why is she not making her team like full of metahumans? What is up with Amanda Waller? And I was talking to some of my critics friends at our advanced screenings, and they were saying, well, this is the story James Gunn wanted to tell. And I get that. The story that you want to tell, those are the characters you use, but it has to make sense to a certain degree. You can't just completely, I get it, like, check your brain at the door, but you can't completely check your brain out the building. All right, there needs to be some explanation as to why she's using this team. Like in the beginning, she wanted half the team to be a distraction because she, I guess, let Blackguard tell them they were arriving, which makes no sense. He shouldn't have had access to, like, a cell phone. He doesn't know people like Harley knew Joker or whatever. But yeah, that whole aspect didn't make sense. And the fact that Flag was on that team, there's a deleted scene where he's talking to Bloodsport, and he's like, you're the leader. Why would she put you on that team to die? And he's like, I think I have an idea. And like, she's wearing like this dress or this shirt. I can't remember exactly, but he makes fun of it and starts laughing. And she gives him this look like, you motherfucker, I'm going to kill you. And it cuts back. I'm like, that is a hilarious scene. I don't know why James Gunn wouldn't leave that in the film. It makes a lot more sense as to why he would be on that first team to get killed, because Amanda Waller does not play. In the comics, in the cartoons, in any aspect of her being shown, she does not play. In this film, once again, she kind of does not play. But unlike in the first Suicide Squad, where she killed like her whole team just for having information they shouldn't have, in this one, some members of her team knock her out, and she lets them live. And like the only punishment they get is that they'll have to watch over Peacemaker, which they'll explain this in the show, but he's gonna do missions for her, and they have to pretty much babysit him. And it's like, what? That's it? That's getting off lucky. She didn't just kill you in your sleep or kill your entire family. I didn't like that aspect of it. Another thing I didn't like was the fact that Peacemaker kills Rick Flag. Oh, another sad moment. Props to James Gunn. He is great with making these bold decisions, taking away characters that we love. But I really want Rick Flag to be back. In the third Suicide Squad film, if they make one, Rick Flag needs to be back. And there's a lot of ways they can do this. One, June Moon still has some enchantress powers. She gets to see his corpse because Amanda Waller lets or whatever, and she uses her enchantress powers to bring him back to life. That's one. That'd be a good way of keeping the universe contained. Two, Rick Flag dies a lot and he just doesn't know it. Amanda Waller keeps cloning him, and that is how he keeps coming back. And usually it's a new team every time. So, like when he dies and that team dies, he comes back so the new team doesn't know that he died. So that'd be great if they had like some kind of carryover in the third film where somebody was like, "Didn't you die?" Like Deadshot, who Will Smith wants to come back, and they need to bring him back for the third Suicide Squad film. And in terms of canon, this film does not break canon with Zack Snyder's Justice League, which for me and most of the world is the canon film now. So they could still move that along. Will Smith's Deadshot was actually supposed to appear in the Nightmare feature on Batman's team, but I think scheduling conflicts didn't allow Will to shoot that scene. But yeah, he was going to be there as their sniper. So that would have been great to have seen him. I really want him to come back. But who's my favorite characters? I got to get into all that. Favorite character probably is going to be Peacemaker. Peacemaker was funny. His rivalry with Bloodsport was very well done. Everybody loves Ratcatcher too. She's cute, she's fun, she's a millennial, but take her or leave her for me. Polka Dot Man, David Dastmalchian, does fine in the role. There's a lot of funny bits involving him throwing up polka dots, but his powers were used poorly in my opinion. He dies, take him or leave him. King Shark, he's fine. He's fine. A lot of people, and I count myself among this, is that they like the really smart King Shark. He looks like an idiot, but he's actually like super intelligent, but also bloodthirsty. I would have liked that version better. This King Shark was just too stupid for me. And Sylvester Stallone does a great job voicing him. He's fun. He's kind of cute, but he's just too stupid. Like, he didn't even have to be like super smart. If they had just made him like normal intelligence, I think it would have worked better. They should have put some Aquaman jokes in there with him. But yeah, there's that. And overall, the film is enjoyable. I'm glad we got it. I need more of a plan from Warner Bros. And DC to see where we're moving forward with the shared universe, because I like the shared universe. I want a third Suicide Squad film. I want a mostly brand new team or a mix of both teams. It would be great to see Deadshot again, like I said. But we'll see where we go from here. Overall, check this film out. And just hope they make a third one. But that is it for me, guys. Remember, you can view this spoiler review on YouTube and the blog, flipfrogllc.com/flixfrog. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit. And please, pretty please, everybody, hey, come here, listen. Make sure that you subscribe. Yes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, everything. Make sure you like, comment, and share. The next Let's Talk Spoilers will be Loki. Getting back on that Marvel universe, and not sure what I'll do after that. We will get it done though. But until next time, I'll be seeing you.